Whoa, 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 what a night. What a night. Actually, what a day. What an incredible day, as a matter of fact. You got Bryce Harper's debut for his rehab assignment up there in Lehigh Valley. Phillies get a walk-off victory courtesy of Nick Maton and some other ninth-inning heroics as Bryson Stott just misses a home run by a foot. And I know the rest of the world saw this as Kevin Durant is staying with the Brooklyn Nets, but I saw it as Tyrese Maxey is staying in Philadelphia. That was very nice. And the Eagles made some cuts yesterday, as I told you they would. There's only one name. And if you caught me the other day, there's one name that I saw on that list that was cut that made me go, oh, I was really hoping that guy would work out here. But we'll get to this. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show. But let's start with the Philadelphia Phillies and Bryce Harper. His rehab assignment could not have started off any better with 2 home runs in Lehigh Valley last night. Packed house up there in Lehigh Valley at Coca-Cola Park. So good for them. They were doing an adoption night for animals, for pets, for dogs. And that's why they were the Lehigh Valley Iron Mutts last night, in case you were confused watching Bryce Harper. But I think most people were just looking at Bryce Harper's swing and not so much his jersey. From Lehigh Valley a little bit later today, the manager of media relations for the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, Michael Ventola, will be joining the show a little bit later. Mike's an old friend of mine, and he'll be joining the program to talk about Bryce Harper's first rehab game up there at Lehigh Valley, what the atmosphere was like, how Bryce Harper looked, and Michael's kind enough to let us know some other prospects that could be on their way. And he also gives us a little behind-the-scenes story about Bryson Stott and Nick Maton and the type of players those guys are, as they were the big bats in the 9th inning of last night's ball game. But it could not have gone any better for Bryce Harper. And watching that swing, watching him pounce on a baseball, watching the viciousness of that swing, and watch him whip the barrel of that bat through the zone yesterday was a sight for sore eyes. I know we've seen him take the batting practice off his dad at Citizens Bank Park, but seeing him in game action handle that business was fantastic yesterday. Then what does he do? Steps up in the Blues, the bottom of the 8th inning of last night's game, drops the barrel of the bat on the outside corner of the plate to go with the pitch to opposite field for a 3-run home run as the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, Iron Mutts last night, got the victory. He looked awesome. He looked great. He looks like a guy that's ready to come back to the big leagues right now. Now, before the game, I believe it was, he had said that he was only, or maybe it was earlier in the media session, because the part of the media session I caught was, I think, a couple questions in. But Bryce Harper said that he's about 85 to 90%. 85 to 90% in terms of energy, stamina, how he feels overall. And he's got to take the rest of the week more or less to figure it out. Now, here's the thing. I think he can play as early as Friday. That's when he's eligible to come off the 60-day IL that the Phillies recently had to put him on. That didn't change his status at all, other than the idea of, there's no chance that he's going to come back earlier than Friday. And after last night's game, when Rob Thompson was addressing the media, he said the same thing. Like, as early as Friday is the possibility, but they think Saturday. The original plan was to have him rest a little bit, at least Sunday, and then join the big league ball club on Monday to potentially play the Arizona Diamondbacks, I believe is who they have at that time. So Bryce Harper, after the game yesterday, was addressing the media just talking about how he felt. Now, 2 home runs is pretty damn good. 2 for 3, pretty damn good. 3 runs scored, not so bad. 4 RBI of the day, not so bad either. Bryce Harper and how he felt after yesterday's game.
So the results were great, but how's the hand feel?
Yeah, it feels good. Just happy to get back out on the field and be around baseball again. Run the bases, see pitches, and attack when I needed to.
A lot of it's about knocking off rust, but how is it about feeling, or how you feel tomorrow, which will determine?
That second day coming back is always kind of tough for anybody. So say I wake up in the morning, so I feel. I'll definitely be back tomorrow, ready to go. And but it's a stepping stone into each day. So I'm gonna take it one day at a time, and see how I feel each day, and go from there.
Let's cross our fingers and hope that this guy is back as soon as humanly possible, because just watching him last night, he looked pretty ready. He looked pretty ready to go. But yeah, the whole stamina thing, saying that the hand felt great is really all I was really concerned about. I know the stamina, that's what happens to players. I mean, I know it's baseball. You don't have to be in the best shape of your life, but you still have to be in at least, quote unquote, baseball shape when it comes to what Bryce Harper and pretty much anybody can bring to the baseball field after a long time away from the game due to injury. So, yeah, no tweaks in the hand. The only thing I wanted to make sure, and the only thing I was terrified to hear after last night's game, which I didn't. It was the only thing I was like, don't let me hear this phrase. After watching the guy hit 2 home runs, don't let me hear this phrase. Yeah, something just felt a little off in the hand. Takes his first at bat, hits the home run, but goes to the dugout. But yeah, just something feels a little off. I don't know what it is. Yeah, you're not playing anymore. No, he felt fine. Just a matter of getting them swings back and feeling like he's ready to party when he comes back to the major league level. Absolutely fantastic. Like I said, Michael Ventola will be joining us a little bit later in the program to talk about the atmosphere up there in Lehigh Valley and how great that was. Let's keep it in baseball. Philadelphia Phillies, another just crazy win. And they've had a lot of those, obviously. But looking at yesterday's game, things started to fall off the wheels. The wheels started to fall off the wagon a little bit for the Phils in that 6th inning. Ranger Suarez, you'll hear Rob Thompson say it in a second. Ranger Suarez just ran out of pitches. He was toast in that 4th inning. Goes out there. He allows 3 runs in the inning. 4 runs in the inning. And he had a lot of issues as that inning went. No, 3 runs in the inning, excuse me. Had a lot of issues, lost a little bit of control, got squeezed, had some dink and dunk hits, if you will. But bottom line, he just wasn't getting the job done. So they're able to escape that inning only allowing those 3 runs. Phillies then came back, though, in the 6th inning. Alec Bohm continues to rake. JT Realmuto continues to rake. Nick Castellanos put the Phillies in front with his RBI single for his 13th consecutive game with a hit. So the streak continues for Nick Castellanos. They find ways to win ball games as long as they're not playing the New York Mets. Last night was another example. And 2 weeks ago, I was talking about this. The Mets kind of ripped my heart out as far as this went, but everybody else, this is what you seem to get from the Phillies. You always feel like they're in the game. Unless they're playing the Mets. But if they're not playing the Mets, you always feel like they're in the game. And even though they went through their struggles earlier in the game with Ranger Suarez on the hill, they kicked that. They came back. They took the lead in the 6th inning on that Castellanos RBI single. That was great. And that is what you can count on from this Phillies team as long as they're not playing the New York Mets. No, they're not playing the Nets or the Mets. We're fine. Everything's fine. But watching the game last night, you saw some poor defense in that 3rd inning. I failed to mention that. Yes, some tough defense in that. It was the top of the 6th inning. I'm all over the place with this game. Trying to follow the Harper game and then follow my notes for the Phillies game was a little all over the place. So excuse me. But watching this game last night, it was just a whirlwind, especially coming out of that 6th inning. Even when they lost the lead, when the bullpen, you got the feeling like Brad Hand, for instance, coming into that game to try to solidify things for the Phillies, and he ends up losing it. You end up going into that 9th inning a little unexpectedly in terms of the scenario that you were in. All of a sudden, you're finding yourself down in that game. And that was a performance by Brad Hand that is rare. I looked it up last night. For Brad Hand to allow 2 runs in an inning in his last 39 appearances, he's only allowed 2 runs. This dates back to last year. He's now only allowed 2 runs twice in an appearance. Last night happened to be one of those examples. And it was on a crazy, absolutely crazy triple, but that's the way it went down. So then what happens? 9th inning comes up. Bottom of the 9th inning comes up. Gene Segura steps to the plate. I don't know why people hate Gene Segura, but they really like throwing baseballs at his face. He gets brushed back a couple of times, ends up walking. Bryson Stott comes up, just misses a home run by a foot, maybe, to walk things off in favor of the Phils. A crazy defensive lapse happens for the Reds, and the Phillies end up plating Gene Segura from 3rd on that play. He scores from 3rd. He was supposed to be held up at 3rd, but he ends up scoring on the play. And Bryson Stott came up with some great heroics. So now he's standing on 3rd base. Nick Maton then steps to the plate for the walk-off RBI single that he hits into shallow right field. That, I mean, everybody can be the hero. We talked about Bryson Stott when he hit that walk-off home run a couple months back about how anyone can be the hero. Matt Vierling stepping up. Alec Boehm, before he showed that he was going to be turning around. When they were in Milwaukee, they were out facing Hader, for instance. Those guys come up with home runs off Hader, and they win that ball game. We've talked at times about how this team just – first off, I always say they're finding ways to win over the last 3 months of the season. That's what good teams do. They find ways to win. Bad teams find a way to lose. Good teams find ways to win. In doing that, you never know who is going to be the hero. And Nick Maton being the latest Cape Crusader, if you will, for the Phillies is just another testament to that. Here is their manager, Rob Thompson, after the game, talking about what this win meant to the team.
These guys just keep fighting, you know. We got down 3 early, and well, not early, but we weren't getting anything off of their starter, and all of a sudden we busted out with 4, and you know, and then add on with Vierling's home run, and then they come back and tie it and go ahead, and they just kept fighting. It was great. I'm happy for Maton, happy for Stott, happy for Plasmeyer. I mean, that's about as difficult a situation you can make your major league debut in. And I didn't want to do that, but Ranger was out of pitches. In fact, he went over a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say. But yeah, Plasmeyer coming in there in that 6th inning and having the troubles to face, like the bases loaded, for instance, and he was able to get out of it is great. But they just keep fighting. I know we talk about it all the time, and when I hear Rob Thompson refer to this team as a team that just continues to fight, there's one thing I keep thinking of, and I keep hearing it. And when the Phillies are down in these games and they come back, or they have some misfortune against, obviously, I don't know if I've said this yet, against a team not named the Mets, I always feel like they're going to fight back. I feel like they're going to be in these games. They're going to find ways to win these games. And the voice I hear is Harry Callis. Fighting Phils. That's what I hear. Fighting Phils. When they come back, Nick Maton walks it off. Bryson Stott walks it off. Alec Boehm comes up with a late inning home run against the Brewers. Fighting Phils. They continue to fight to win ball games. And that's ultimately what you want from your ball club, is to always feel like you're in it. Last night, really special feature. I actually love that the Phillies do this with their broadcast. They put the broadcast crew, Tom McCarthy and company, John Kruk, Ben Davis, Ruben Amaro Jr., they put them out there in the field. We all know the very famous play now with Tom McCarthy catching that home run ball and then throwing it back onto the field when the broadcast crew was in center field a few years back. That was great. Watching them out there interact with the players, interact with the fans, they always show the concessions, and I'm always thinking, well, for 4 people, that's this much money. But I think it's a great broadcast. And last night, they were joined by Tyrese Maxey. I have no doubt that I don't care if this was something that was planned months ago where Tyrese Maxey was going to make an appearance, and that's great. This, I felt like, even if it had nothing to do with it, this was a flex. No other way to look at it. Tyrese Maxey showing up during the broadcast last night was like, I ain't going anywhere. He didn't say this, but I'm just saying his presence, this is what I was thinking. Tyrese Maxey being there was like, yeah, you're not trading me for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, you saw the news earlier in the day, staying in Brooklyn. Brooklyn called him on his BS. Kevin Durant's like, all right, I'll play in Cleveland. Or play in Brooklyn. You got me. Sorry. And that was the end of it. So that's where the parties are right now. The Nets and Kevin Durant's company, they got to smooth things over a little bit. And Kevin Durant's going to be playing with Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons. So we'll watch the fireworks when the season starts. But Maxey shows up. His name had been thrown out there a number of times. We've discussed it a number of times on this show that he was going to be going to the Nets. If Kevin Durant is with the Sixers, that means that Maxey would have to be with the Nets. Not the case. No trades going on. Tyrese Maxey doesn't have to think about that anymore. He can continue to work his ass off when it comes to getting better at the sport of basketball. Gave a lot of credit to the Phillies fans, to the Philadelphia fans in general. Talked about how he's more or less become a member of the Philadelphia fan base now by going to Eagles games, going to the Flyers games, and coming to Phillies games as well, and just being a part of the fan base and just experiencing them. Anything else from that interview that jumped out to me? If there's anything else that jumped out, it's how much of a big basketball fan John Kruk is. And he was talking about how he was recruited to play in college. Ended up playing baseball because they had like a free trip to Florida, essentially. So he's like, yeah, I'll play baseball, sure. And like, wow, what a gift to be that kind of athlete. But yeah, okay. And him and Maxey are just, they're talking ball. And Tom McCarthy just like took a step back, and it was just like, listen to this. This is great. But it was also it really impressive and really awesome to see the way this fan base here in Philadelphia has taken to Tyrese Maxey and how the two have really taken to each other. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, it's difficult to get this good a start in a fan base. Like, first off, Tyrese Maxey was a steal in that draft. We all know it. If you have a full-blown NCAA tournament that year, pandemic year, the midst of the pandemic, then I don't think Tyrese Maxey is going out of the top 10. I don't even think he's going out of the top 3. But he did, and he went to the Sixers. Then for him to come in and play the way he did 2 years ago in the playoffs during his rookie year, then all the drama to hit the fan with Ben Simmons, and Tyrese Maxey gets this golden opportunity to be the starting point guard of the Philadelphia 76ers. Then Joel Embiid misses a handful of games with COVID. Tyrese Maxey takes over and becomes the leader on the team during that period. On the court, I'm talking about. I'm not talking about emotional stuff. I'm talking about he steps up. He's dropping 30-point games. He is taking full advantage of the opportunity presented to him by the circumstances. Joel Embiid comes back. Those two learn how to play with one another. Tyrese Maxey then looks like a guy that could be an all-star. James Harden comes here. Those two have a good relationship. And then everything else after that is just roses, other than the end, which is getting bounced out in the second round of the playoffs again. But Tyrese Maxey has this red carpet of opportunity rolled out in front of him. And you see him continuously take giant steps down that red carpet. Now, what's at the end of that? Is it a championship? Is it an all-star appearance? What is it? But right now, we are at just the beginning. And with the Kevin Durant news going away, and that, or not going away, but settled at least with him staying with the Nets, Tyrese Maxey being at the start of that red carpet right now, that is going to be a long, beautiful ride. Long, beautiful walk down the red carpet. With how it started, I'm looking forward to how it ends. But I hope that's not for a long, long time, because I think this guy has a lot to offer the city of Philadelphia, both on the court as a guy that could be a great basketball player and as a guy that just seems relatable to the fan base. A guy that wants to work his ass off, and a guy that, as I've described before, just seems like a damn sweetheart is what he seems like. This could be the beginning of something amazing. And no pun intended with him being at the baseball game last night, but it's a absolute home run if he is able to continuously get better and really reach his potential and help this Sixers squad in the upcoming season reach their full potential, which is not a second-round exit. It's an NBA championship. That is the full potential of this squad. That's how I feel. Let me tell you about my good friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right in Philadelphia, right on Jewelers Row. Steven guarantees the perfect price each and every day at Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price every single day. So when you walk in, you don't have to worry about haggling or negotiating or anything like that. All you got to worry about is what beautiful, dazzling diamond you want to buy from their incredible, incredible displays. A real jewelry expert will walk you through everything when you walk in. And when you walk in, because of the perfect price, you don't have to worry about negotiating or haggling or if you have a coupon or anything ridiculous like that. No. You just know you're going to get taken care of. The person next to you is going to be paying the same perfect price that you're paying. They're not getting some better deal. That's the way it works at Steven Singer Jewelers. Steven Singer Jewelers, one place, one price, the perfect price each and every day. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. Always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. Without further ado, let's jump on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line and talk to our friend Michael Ventola about Bryce Harper's AAA debut for the Lehigh Valley Iron Mutts last night. And Michael walks us through why they were the Iron Mutts as well. Here he is. For the first time on the program, an old friend of mine, Michael Ventola, joins us. Michael, what's going on, brother?
Look, man, it's been crazy up here in Allentown. Bryce Harper had an unbelievable night. We had a sold out crowd, 10,100 fans, filled up Coca-Cola Park, and Bryce Harper, big night, wearing an Iron Mutts uniform. So pretty cool stuff.
Just real quick to the Iron Mutts thing. I need to get this out of the way. Why the Iron Mutts tonight?
So pretty much the Iron Mutts is an ode to the underdog. So for dog lovers out there, for the mutts who don't get as much notoriety, stardom, things of that nature. So we wanted to make it as an ode to the underdog. But with that as well, too, we tried to break the record for most dog adoptions in a minor league ballpark. We hit 44. We don't know if it's a world record, but at least we had 44 tonight. It was pretty impressive.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Hey, before we get to the Bryce Harper stuff, I got to ask you about this because here in Philadelphia, Nick Maton was able to get a walk-off RBI single for the Phillies to come back and beat the Reds in the bottom of the ninth inning, which was absolutely incredible. A bunch of things went on there. A couple of guys that, one recently, Nick Maton had some time up there at AAA in Lehigh Valley. Bryson Stott was there not too long ago. Let's start with Maton. When you think back at Maton's time up there in AAA, what jumps to mind?
A kid that can play anywhere. What was nice to see about him, Mark, was that he could play second base. He could play shortstop. He could play third base. And one thing, too, which was really nice to see from an at-plate perspective, he could get on base. He had a really good knack for working deep counts, literally causing pitchers to throw 7, 8, 9 pitches per at bat, it felt like. And he was really maturing from his time when he was with the Iron Pigs in 2021 to 2022, at least here to this year. So I'm not surprised he's up in the big leagues. The Phillies certainly enjoy watching him play because he's a kid that can play multiple positions. And like I said, he was able to do that here in Lehigh Valley and really was a big part of the Iron Pigs' success for most of the season. The Iron Pigs right now are in the midst of a division race right now, and Nick being a big part of that.
And then also Bryson Stott, he's been up here the whole year. He's been the Phillies' #1 guy when it comes to taking over the shortstop spot, maybe playing a little third base, playing a lot of second base while Gene Segura was out for a long time with injury. What do you remember about Bryson Stott's time up there?
When he got called up at the end of 2021 because with the AAA season being extended beyond where the AA season came to an end, I got to be honest with you. This is a kid to me that could fall out of the bed and just simply hit. He's just, you can see he's got a knack of really why he's going to become a really good hitter in the big leagues. And I think now Philly fans are starting to take that all in. A kid that can hit to all sides. He's certainly showcasing his power. I think for me, when it comes to defensively, I know everyone's asking, is he the shortstop of the future? To me, I think he can be. And I know some may see he's a little tall or he's a little bulky for the position, but I do think he feels the position very well. And though I saw him in limited games, I was really impressed with his ability to play the shortstop position. So I'm not surprised he's having success there now. I figured he would have to go through some growing pains, Mark, as I'm sure you and other Philly fans and media perspectives would understand. But now it seems like he's starting to find his groove, and that's only going to help the Phillies. And it goes to show you what the Phillies think of him. Yes, he is the future, but to straight up just release Didi Gregorius for Bryson Stott at this point goes a long way. And I think that's a credit to Bryson to obviously what he's able to do here with the Phillies.
I'm not going to make any jokes about how Bryce Harper is a farmhand, about how this guy looks like a prospect and all that stuff, but oh my God. I mean, could he have had a better rehab start? I mean, you guys win the game. The Iron Mutts win the game. Bryce Harper hits 2 home runs. One of them is a 3-run home run, his last at bat of the ball game. I mean, really, it couldn't have gone any better than that, right?
He did everything I think the Phillies and fans would want to see out of him. So his first AB, everyone's thinking, no way he homers. Bam, homers, in his first at bat of the game, pulls a beauty, hits one about 375, about 375 feet over the right field wall. And then his next couple of at-bats, he draws a walk, grounds out. So you're able to see him take pitches deep into account, able to see him try to run out a ground ball, and then also, too, him trying to move on the base paths as well, too. Head first slide into third base, gets tagged out, but everything looks good from his end. And then to me, the most impressive at-bat was the opposite field home run, because you would have to think with his thumb injury, Mark, that if he's showing that he's healthy, that opposite field home run went about 370, but it jumped off the bat. So really awesome night for Bryce. But more importantly, too, you could just see that it didn't take him long to get back into game shape here. It was really impressive to watch him play here this evening.
In all honesty, if you didn't know that he was up there, like if you would have thought it was maybe, I don't know, some exhibition where they were playing their AAA guys, I don't know. Like, would you have known that there was any injury that he'd suffered?
No, not at all. He literally looked like as if that, he's just been playing here with the team all season. Like he just fit in, and he had an opportunity to meet with the media after the game, and obviously just a lot of high praise for, work, playing with the guys here. And he, of course, got the chance to play with a lot of these guys during spring training. So it was nice to see some familiar faces in the clubhouse. So, but for night one, you got to be impressed. You just have to be impressed with how he was able to perform on the field.
Hey, look, it's only night one. A lot of times I think what happens is when guys are doing the rehab assignments, especially long-term, we've heard about things with DeGrom, with Scherzer. They do a little something nice for the boys in the clubhouse there. Any word on that? Has he done anything quite yet, or do you expect him to? Just what are you thinking?
I mean, we're expecting him to be here for, as we announced on the other day, we expect him to be here through Saturday. Mm-hmm. Obviously, with all rehabs markets, it's day to day, and things can change at any moment. So, but for us, we're ready to come to the ballpark tomorrow and expecting him to actually put on an Iron Pigs uniform tomorrow. It won't be the Iron Mutts. It'll be the actual Iron Pigs home uniform he'll be wearing on Wednesday evening. Right.
So no Rolexes in everybody's locker in the clubhouse, nothing like that yet?
Nothing I have seen yet. So I wouldn't be, he's going to tell you, it was my first interaction with him. He is a class act. He is a pro's pro. And to me, you could just see why he's been embraced by this fan base. He is, without question, fun to watch, and of course, fun to work with as well.
It's contagious to watch that, man. The excitement is certainly contagious. When you talked about the capacity crowd and all that there in Lehigh Valley in Allentown, just go ahead and set that scene for me. What was it like going to work today, knowing Bryce Harper was going to be in your lineup?
For me, and I've been fortunate enough, to have rehabs in the past. When I was with Reading, was fortunate enough to have Chase Utley on rehab, and that was quite an awesome experience as well. But, when you sit there and you're thinking the reigning National League MVP, you're thinking, okay, there's going to be a lot of eyes and the buzz. See, not only so much just in the stadium, but even leading up to the day mark, social media was nonstop. I had media at the ballpark going from 9 o'clock in the morning up until first pitch, just with, the amount of coverage that was here at the ballpark, fans just eagerly waiting to get into the ballpark. And, our ticket offices were absolutely being destroyed by people, calling and visiting. And I say that in a very positive tone.
Sure.
It was awesome. It was awesome to see. And then, just for our staff, luckily, for us, we have the facility, we have a staff that was really able to come together and make it, believe it or not, try to make it as normal of an experience as possible. But once the crowd came in, and when he stepped up to the plate for the first time, there was an aura and a buzz in the stadium that I haven't seen in quite some time. So it was really awesome to kind of see it all come together. I think things now will kind of die down a little bit just from a, frenzy standpoint, but tickets are limited here over the next few days. So if, people who are eager to see Bryce in Allentown, you better get to ironpigsbaseball.com, get your tickets, because it is limited and they are running.
You are a true, manager of media relations? That's the proper title?
That's me. See, did the little PR come out there, Mark? Did a little PR come out?
It's just a little snuck out. Just a little bit. That's a lot of bacon sticks you guys are selling up there, huh?
Oh, absolutely. If you next time you come to a ballpark, we'll get some bacon on a stick for you. Ooh. See, look at that. I'm enticing you. Bring the missus, bring the kids. Let's go.
I need my daughter to have a stick of bacon. For people that don't know, first off, Bryce Harper Bryce Harper going to the Iron Pigs, going to see the Iron Pigs play in that beautiful ballpark. It is pristine. It is an amazing ballpark. You got to check it out. And yes, the concessions are incredible as well. They sell literally a big old slab of bacon on a stick. And if I remember correctly, there may or may not be a little, I think you could do like maybe a jalapeno. Can you do a little jalapeno drizzle and a little maple syrup? A little maple syrup, maybe?
Yes, you can.
Look at us. Look at us.
Look at us. Look at us. We're talking food, talking baseball. If only this were Sunday, we'd have the Sunday pasta. Then we're good to go. So,
Yes, of course. Yeah, he said stirring that so it don't stick.
yeah, don't
Anyway,
stick up.
so you mentioned the Iron Pigs. You guys are in the middle of a division hunt here. You guys are going after all that. So let me ask. There's a couple of names that I want to run by you real quick. There's some top names that are at the AAA level right now. One of them is Eric Miller, a left-handed pitcher. What can you tell me about him right now? Rated the 7th highest prospect in the Phillies farm system.
I mean, you can see why that he was taken to the futures game. He's got a really good repertoire. His beginning here in AAA has been a little rough. He has been giving up some runs here in his first couple of starts, but you can definitely see that, he gets ahead of hitters, though. He's got good movement on his fastball, his breaking ball. So certainly someone that will get things corrected here quickly. We're excited to see him pitch here more consistently because the Iron Pigs just came off a road trip up in Buffalo where things did not go well from his standpoint. So, but Cesar Ramos, our pitching coach, has done a great job with all of our pitchers this year. So I would expect him, once he continues to work with him, he'll be able to turn things around.
And the next one, I'm not even sure I'm saying his name. Is it Sonny Sands? Donnie Sands?
Donnie Sands.
Donnie Sands. Okay. Donnie Sands. Sonny Sands might even sound better. But anyway, Donnie Sands. Okay. Another catching prospect in the Phillies minor league system.
So Donnie is a really good hitter. I mean, Donnie is at the point here where his strength is his offense, hits for power, can drive it from gap to gap. But his defense has improved from April to this point. So does a really good job working with pitchers, calling a game. His receiving is improved, and he's got a really good arm too. He can throw out base runners as well. So, but currently right now to Mark, he is behind Rafael Marchand on the depth chart because with Marchand having the experience more being up in the big leagues, but both guys are on the 40-man roster. So, at any point, if hopefully, nothing ever happened to JT or Garrett Stubbs, but if it were ever that case, not only Marchand could be considered, but Donnie Sands could be considered. This was a guy that was in the Yankee system and was, he was perceived pretty high. But what ended up happening was that the Yankees felt like they've had too much. They moved on, and good for the Phillies to pick him up because if he continues to grow defensively, this is a guy that could really be a catcher in the big leagues sooner rather than later.
And finally, Derek Hall returning to AAA play. I really enjoyed watching him at the majors. He just pitched the other day against the Mets. I wasn't too happy about that, but he did. But just seems like a phenomenal guy and a guy that's only going to get better and fine-tune some things, hopefully, again, once he gets back to the AAA level.
Yeah, Hall was having a fantastic season here before he got called up to Philadelphia. 20 home runs, over 60 runs batted in. And his batting average was up around 270, 280. So he's really starting to hit for average in a lot of aspects here to begin the season. And he really just not only just driving the ball, but hitting the ball out towards left field as well too. His defense at first. I think people ask me all the time, what impresses you the most? He's a really good defender at first base. And I know that obviously Reese has got things covered at the first base position, but we're really excited to see Derek back here because I know he'll help us, but I got to be honest with you, I don't think he's here long. I would not be surprised if the Phillies take him back up at some point. So
yeah, September is just around the corner. Michael, always great catching up with you, man. Seriously, it's been too long, and I appreciate you jumping on the line with us. Just for full disclosure, to peel that curtain back for a second, I texted Mike 5 minutes before first pitch. I said the manager, the media up there in Lehigh Valley. I said, "Hey, can I get you on tonight after the game?" He's like, "Absolutely," just like that. You're a man of many, many talents, my friend.
Well, look, I got to be honest with you, and to anybody watching that is a contemporary, I did it for you, my man. It's been way too long, so I figured this was a great way to get back into your life here a little bit. So.
You're too good, my friend, and a broadcaster in your own right. Don't think I don't know. Michael, always great catching up with you, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. And hey, best of luck to the once and former Iron Mutts and the once again Iron Pigs the rest of the way.
Appreciate it, Mark. And looking forward to hopefully doing this again down the line.
Absolutely, Michael. Thank you so much, brother. Michael Ventola joining us there from Lehigh Valley. So last night, I think I even said during yesterday's show that Seamus Clancy from Philly Voice was going to join the program. And I had hit him up, and great dude. I've talked to him a couple times, and great writer and all that stuff. And he was going to come on the show. We're going to talk film. We're going to talk about everything. A man for all seasons. And literally, right before the interview was supposed to happen yesterday, I get a text from Xfinity saying that internet's down in your neighborhood. Sorry. At least that's how I read the text message. And I texted, it said it was supposed to be back at 6:15 p.m. I was supposed to do the interview at 6. Texted Seamus back, and I said, hey, just so you know, I'm losing internet here. Do you have any wiggle room? Can you do 6:15, 6:20? And he's like, yeah, sure. Internet's still not back. I texted him, I'm like, look, man, I don't want to hold you up from anything. You know, I'll figure something else out if you gotta run. He's like, yeah, let me know. Literally 5 minutes later, the internet came back. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I hit him up real quick. And of course, we weren't able to work it out. Someone else came up for him. And the last thing I want to do is pressure somebody into doing an interview. So I was like, I got to get someone that could, talk about at least the Phillies with what's going on and Bryce Harper. And I was like, Michael, my man, Michael. So I hit him up, and I'm not kidding you. It was like 5 minutes before first pitch. The man's a busy man. And I hit him up and said, hey, man, hope all's well. Did he come on the show? And he's like, yeah, sure. Send me the link. There you go. And he came on. He's great. So I really appreciate that. Really, really nice dude. Much appreciated. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, about Manscaped. Fellas, you want to look good everywhere, right? That's where Manscaped enters the conversation. With their Platinum Package 4.0, it includes a lawnmower trimmer 4.0, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, and it all comes with skin-safe technology that helps reduce the risk of nicks, so you can manscape with confidence and comfort. Plus, the Ultra Premium Body Wash 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, deodorant, crop preserver, anti-chafing ball deodorant, crop reviver ball spray toner. Come on! And the anti-chafing boxers, as well as the Shed travel bag that will hold all the goods that you'll be using to manscape your goods with Manscaped. Manscaped is the leader in below-the-waist grooming, and now you can trust them with the whole shebang. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with promo code Farzy. That's promo code Farzy for 20% off your Manscaped purchase. How about Freestone Farm CBD? You like CBD? Do you use CBD? You want a better CBD? How about Freestone Farm CBD? FreestoneFarmCBD.com. Use promo code Farzy for 20% off your order. Oh my goodness, just saying Farzy gets you 20% off is so much. Go to Freestone Farm CBD. You'll be absolutely blown away with their all-new strain menu. They got flavors like the Bayox, tropical tasting Bayox that clocks in at a chart-topping 24.1%. And stop me if you heard this before. Half Hindu Kush. Oof. Super CBD. Super CBD, which is half Hindu. I didn't forget. Kush. And 21%. The genetics of these guys are off the charts. FreestoneFarmCBD.com. If you're someone that wants to take a more natural approach to everything you put in your body, Freestone Farm CBD. FreestoneFarmCBD.com. Fellas, are you having a problem in the bedroom? Blue Chew. Okay. Blue Chew. BlueChew.com. Use promo code Farzy for your first month free. Just pay $5 shipping, but Blue Chew itself is free. If you haven't heard yet, Blue Chew delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, and they do it at a fraction of the cost and in chewable form. So it's not just a clever name. Blue Chew's tablets help men combat all forms of ED. And again, it's an online prescription service, so there's no embarrassing trips to the doctor or pharmacy. I'm sorry, what was your order for again? I don't want to say what my order for. Oh, no, you had the Blue Chew? No, that doesn't happen. No. Gets delivered to your door in a discreet package. Blue Chew's process, very simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com. Consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days, and it's all done online. Blue Chew, you'll deal with one of their licensed medical providers who will work with you to find the ingredient and strength, the proper ingredient and strength for your prescription. If you don't like swallowing pills, no problems here. Blue Chew's tablets are chewable. Blue Chew's tablets are also made right here in the good old US of A. So your lovemaking is American-made. I don't know why I say it like that, but I just find it funny. Anyway, they prepare and ship directly to your house, so it's also cheaper and more discreet than a pharmacy. Once again, special deal for our listeners and our viewers of the Farzy Show. Try the Blue Chew. Try Blue Chew for free. And use promo code Farzy at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code Farzy to receive your first month free. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. I think this is Alyssa's first time with the Blue Chew reads. We gonna make that money, Alyssa. We gonna make that money. Hey, Blue Chew's great. It works. People use it. Anyway, let's jump into the chat check. See how the rest of you guys are doing. April, good morning. Kevin, what's going on? April, I love that they had the announcers in the seats last night. It seemed like they were really having a blast. It absolutely did. And other than Tyrese Maxey, the only thing that made me smile more was when the Fanatic visited the broadcast crew. I look at the Philly Fanatic and I just smile. I am reminded of beautiful memories of my childhood. And I even when we moved out of the Philly area and we lived in like the Baltimore area near my mom's family for a couple years, we still had I still remember a Phillies pennant. We lived in Rochester, New York briefly for a minute. I still remember my Philly Fanatic pennant. Like I that was the first thing my earliest sports memory is a Philly Fanatic Phillies pennant that was in my bedroom. We lived in Ambler when I was born, where my dad's originally from. Then me and my family moved around a bunch, but it was always this Philly Fanatic. Whenever I see the Philly Fanatic, I just smile, immediately smile. And whenever somebody talks about, oh, retire the Fanatic, it's time to get rid of, move on, and get a new mascot, I'm like, how dare you? How dare you, sir? How dare you? That's what I think. But seeing him throw the popcorn in his face last night, getting it all over Ben Davis, getting it all over Ruben Amaro, it's just funny to me. I love it. Absolutely love that. And then Maxey came in, and I'm like, this is nice. It's not getting any better. And then the Phillies went down. And then the Phillies came back. And then the Phillies went down. And then the Phillies came back. There you go. Roller coaster of emotions. April, Mark, today is not a dark shirt day. Yes, for the people on the podcast, I'm wearing the gray button down. Yeah, the one with the plunging neckline. Okay, Miss Cozy. Sean Gillespie, what's going on? Fuji, what's up, Fuji? Sean Gillespie. Saying hello to everybody. John Cheeseborough, Alyssa. Everyone's making nice, as per usual. Dan Campbell outside his skull. John Cheeseborough, you watching the Hard Knocks? Here's the thing. I wanted to say this about Dan Campbell and the Hard Knocks, head coach of the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell was the coach for like a week in Miami. It was longer than that, but it was brief. He took over, and I remember after, I think they won their first game, Dan Campbell went into the locker room, and he raised a football, and he went, I would bleed for you guys. Yeah! The whole place went. So I don't think they won another game for the rest of the year. So, like, although I love anybody that's passionate about what they do. I feel like if you're not passionate about what you do, like, you realize we get one ride on this life, right? It's like we get one of these. Like, you got to be passionate about what you do. He's very passionate about what he does. I don't know how good a football coach he is. I know he's a great motivator. I don't know how good a football coach he is. He's coaching the Lions, so it's not exactly a good starting point. But hey, we'll see him week 1 of the season, so we'll party there hopefully. John, hello. Speaking of Hard Knocks, teams are very good. Very true. April, Harper looked great last night. I concur. John Cheeseborough, I know this lineup can't wait till Harper's batting third. Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to guys like, looking at just, let's see, I want to see what the, sometimes the stats aren't updated, so I just want to go to the box score of last night's game. Schwarber, 6 strikeouts, it is, I think, in the last 2 games. No bueno. But Hoskins started to come back down to earth. Bohm has obviously taken off. Him batting third, I am fine with. But the thing is with Alec Bohm, you got to get more power in that bat. Like, there's got to be a point. We talked about it yesterday, but there's got to be a point where that 6'4" lanky frame is hitting like with some pop. Who is it? Richie Sexton with the Cleveland Indians is a tall, lanky guy that can hit with some pop. Alec Bohm's got to get to that point. JT Realmuto's obviously turned it around. He's hitting just under 270. Nick Castellanos, obviously 13-game hitting streak. He's at 267 right now. Gene Segura back in this lineup is great. I love that. Absolutely. But you're getting the reigning NL MVP back, maybe by this weekend. Yes, please, and thank you. And you know what else it would have? It'll be great for the lineup, absolutely. But you know what else would be great for? Putting butts in the seats. Last night, the smallest crowd of the season at Citizens Bank Park to watch them take on the Cincinnati Reds. Smallest crowd of the season. I don't fan shame because fans are the ones that are spending money to go. But it's just to think the Phillies are not worth the price of admission when they're a playoff-bound team. It sucks. And that's not a fan shame there. That's just, you got to be worth the price of admission. And right now, with whatever's going on in people's lives, it's not worth it for them to go down to the ballpark. So that sucks. Nickel beer night. Let me hear me out. Hear me out. Nickel beer night. Bring it back. Did the Phillies ever have a nickel beer night? I think that's only a minor league promotion. Did the Dodgers have one? Anyway, so that's where we're at right now. The Phillies lineup. John Cheeseroast, that's where we're at. Jim Grassby, extended Farzy show. I hear you guys. Farzy, if you don't get an extended Farzy show, I hope every conversation you have in your head sounds like Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless arguing. Skill. I'm reading verbatim what John Cheeseroast has written. PJ, thanks again for explaining to me what I want my restitution. Yeah. The sign before the Blue Chew read cracks me up every time. Oh, the sigh before. I'm an idiot. Sorry. The sigh before the Blue Chew read. Mo money, mo problems for us old heads. Sean, tell me about it. Mo money, hell yeah. Speaking. Oh, the copyright thing. Yeah, with the Philly Fanatic. Yeah, that broke my heart. But he's still the Philly Fanatic. It's not like they're going to hip hop. The bunny, like the Sixers tried. Although I'd rather have hip hop than Franklin. I'm just saying. Hey, whoever is the best friend of Franklin, or whoever is the best friend of hip hop, I didn't like either mascot, but if I had to choose either, both of the best friends are doing a phenomenal job. Okay. The idea of a little puppy being the Sixers mascot is horrendous. That is a mailed-in idea for a mascot. Philly Fanatic is not. I think what I'm saying here is bring back a Big Shot. Bring back Big Shot. I was typing fast and then my brain was what? Makes it sad when I see empty seats. April, I'm always sad when I see empty seats. Absolutely. Nickel beer night is a disaster written all over it. John, I don't disagree. Jim Grassmeter, Farzy, I'll give you the $1. Get me 20 beers, please. What could go wrong? John Cheeseburger, we're the three best friends that anyone could have. Thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys are great. As per usual. Let's get to the morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. I mentioned at the top of the show, Eagles had some cuts yesterday, and they had some pup listing yesterday as well. Here's what they got. Jared Williams, undrafted free agent, tackle, gone. Running back DeAndre Torrey, undrafted free agent, gone. Quarterback Josh Blackwell, undrafted free agent, gone. You see a pattern here? Undrafted free agent, toast. DeAndre Torrey is the guy that in preseason game number 2 against the Cleveland Browns I mentioned, simply because I thought he was tackled for a loss of about 6 or 7 yards. And somehow, on a run to the outside, he bounced it back inside and ended up getting a gain on the play. And I was like, where'd that guy go? He's like 5'6". He's essentially Boston Scott, a younger version of Boston Scott these days. You saw Boston Scott go nuts for him on the sideline. But this guy was getting it done for the Eagles in terms of quickness, in terms of speed, in terms of being able to catch the ball out of the backfield. He did a lot of that in training camp. He did a lot of that. I thought would have had the opportunity to do that a little bit more in the games. Turns out not to be the case. So the Eagles got rid of a running back in their first round of cuts. They had to put 5 people. They had to take 5 people off their roster yesterday, and these are the 5, including Brett Toth, who I just feel like eventually in the season we'll see, and Tyree Jackson, tight end, is on the PUP list as well from his injury from last year. He's a guy that actually came on strong in the brief second we saw him last year. He's a guy that came along with a lot of hype. He's a guy that they thought, okay, yeah, we could definitely trade Zach Ertz because we'll have him as a backup eventually. Injuries have been a problem for the guy, and he's a huge target, 6'5", 6'6", and he can run really well for that size. So I was sorry to see that he had to be, well, it was expected that he was going to go to PUP, but that's one of the roster moves they made yesterday. But Torrey is the one that went, that was the one guy that I was like, that's the no-name guy that I'm going to pull for in this training camp. Wasn't the case. I have seen other people, and I mentioned this yesterday, start to really take up the argument for Deion Kane, and it's basically whether or not Jalen Reagor is going to be on the roster come week 1, whether or not he is going to be traded or whether or not he is going to be released. I don't see what you get from Jalen Reagor. I see what you can get from Deion Kane. And Deion Kane, depending on the game that he has in Miami, may become the Rashad Bailey. He might be the, Paul Turner? He might be Mr. Training Camp. He might be Mr. Preseason. But he ends up getting cut. Hopefully that doesn't happen with the next round of cuts. Phillies back on the diamond tonight against those Cincinnati Reds. After the 7-6 victory in last night's ball game, Phillies will be back at it tonight again. 7:05 start time after their walk-off victory last night. This time around, now this is when Christopher Sanchez. Now this is what confused me. I did go back and I watched this. I forget who told me this in the chat yesterday. Was it Julian? Christopher Sanchez. So this is what crossed me up. I watched Rob Thompson's press conference yesterday morning. So for whatever reason, when he said tomorrow, that's when my mind jumped to Wednesday, not Tuesday. Bottom line is I'm an idiot, but that's how my idiot brain worked yesterday. So Christopher Sanchez gets the start tonight for the Phillies. 25-year-old left-handed pitcher. He'll go up against Zouch. Zouch? How do you say this guy's name? TJ Zouch? He pitched against the Phillies about a week ago. And that was just his second start of the season. He went 4 innings, 6 earned runs. Phillies absolutely blew up his spot back on the 16th. In that game, Rhys Hoskins was very much on point. He was 3 for 6 on that day. Castellanos 3 for 5. Segura 3 for 5 as well. Garrett Stubbs, not that I'm expecting him to play, but he was 2 for 3 in that ballgame. Phillies had themselves a day with 18 hits, and it was started off by good old TJ himself in that ballgame. So that's what he's bringing to the table today, a right-handed pitcher out of Mason, Ohio, getting the start for the Cincinnati Reds tonight. I am happy that we don't have to talk about something anymore, and this is the last time that I want to really get into it. The whole Kevin Durant situation with the Brooklyn Nets. I wanted to make sure I got to this again in the morning rush. That was a really weird situation. Do you know how bad it has to be for an NBA superstar to not get his way? Do you know how horribly you have to play your hand to be an NBA superstar and not get a trade? I don't know if this was a hissy fit thrown by Kevin Durant, just get me out of here, or if it was the agent going, I think we can get you out of here, which is how, in my mind, all agents in sports speak. I can get you out of here. An awful way. And as you're doing trades, in your mind, like, if the Sixers were going to trade, they'd have to trade Maxey, but they don't want to trade Maxey. And then you see teams try to just throw their name in the ring, like, what was it, the Minnesota Timberwolves? That ain't happening. 5 first-rounders, and the Nets are like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. Trading Kevin Durant now to a team that's even halfway built makes them a contender. So what do you give up for that? If you're the Nets, you ask for the world back. If you're the Nets and you assembled a big 3 of Irving, Durant, and Harden, and in 2 years it doesn't work and you blow it up, oh, you look pretty stupid. Unless you get back a future guaranteeing type of deal. Where, yes, not right now with Kevin Durant, but later, a couple years down the line, we'll be back to really being contenders again. They turned down a huge haul for Kevin Durant because it's all about winning now. They turned down a huge haul because They didn't want to part ways with Kevin Durant. They see him as a guy that will win. And they also called his BS. They called him on his bluff. Like, where are you going to go? Like, what are we going to trade you to the Celtics? We're not trading you to the Celtics so we can face you. We're not trading you to the Sixers so we can face you. We're not trading you for just like a bevy of picks that probably won't work out anyway. To the level that to the level of being Kevin Durant. Nets dug in. Kevin Durant kind of kicked his foot at the dirt a little bit. I wouldn't even say dug in, but it's resolved, and it looks like he is going to be playing for the Nets this year, which is fine. All that matters to me is that Tyrese Maxey stays in Philadelphia. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You guys are great as per usual. Much appreciated. Tomorrow, we're going to be joined by Zach Gelb of CBS Sports Radio. Zach, I will just totally exaggerate this. Star of the Manti Te'o documentary. He gets a question in the Manti Te'o during, I believe it was the media day for Notre Dame, I think. But Zach Gelb will be joining us for tomorrow's show to talk Eagles, the Manti Te'o documentary. If you haven't seen it yet on Netflix, it's I think it's two. I think both episodes are an hour. And like I remember following that story, it was insane. It was even more insane than I thought it would be. Like following it from afar and then getting this kind of behind the scenes look of it for 2 hours, it was pretty wild. I'll talk more about it tomorrow, but we'll have some Phillies conversation for tomorrow. We'll have some Eagles conversation as well. And I'm happy to announce also Monday morning, I'll be joined by my old friend, or excuse me, Tuesday morning, I'll be joined by my friend Trey Thomas to talk about the Eagles preseason and how he sees this offensive line shaping up and what he makes of Jason Kelsey's future replacement down the line, Cam Jurgens, and what he brings to the table. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. I'm Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show. Jim Hyden produced the program, did a wonderful job. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Take it easy.